nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Will the clerk please call the roll? What? Who talked? Clerk, please.
Matado,
Here.
Brown,
Absent.
Cole. Here. Hochstetter,
Here.
Newman,
Absent.
Reed,
Here.
Stewart.
Here.
Okay, so council members Brown and Newman are absent tonight, and they both had told us earlier. I would Mayor Hochstetter, Deputy Mayor Hochstetter, please make a motion to excuse Councilmember Brown.
Yes, I'll make the motion that we excuse Councilmember Brown from this evening's meeting.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Do I have a second for Councilmember Newman? Excuse her.
Mary, do you need a motion?
I'm going to make the motion.
Yes. We're working on that.
Yes, I'd like to make the motion that we excuse Councilmember Newman from tonight's meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Both motions passed. All right, so the regular meeting will now adjourn into an executive session to consider information regarding the infrastructure and security of computer and telecommunications networks pursuant to RCW 42.30.110.1.A.11. This will last 15 minutes. For council members who are not in attendance at City Hall, a separate meeting link was sent to you. Please log in now, and the regular meeting is adjourned at 6:03. Aren't you glad you got here just in time?
The executive session has been extended for approximately, has it been extended for 5 more minutes.
Are we ready? Okay, I'm going to reconvene the meeting at 6:25. And move on to the consent agenda. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Item number 1, resolution number 1633, interlocal agreement with the Port of Tacoma, Ryan House. Item number 2, approval of the meeting minutes from the regular council meeting of July 18, 2022 and July 25th, 2022 study session.
Thank you. Will Deputy Mayor Hochstetter please make a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Yes, I move we adopt the consent agenda as read.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Stewart,
I'll second that.
thank you. It's been moved and seconded by Councilmember Stewart. Would any council member like to, well, let me see, where am I here? Would anybody like to remove something from the consent agenda? Seeing none. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimous. Okay, now we're moving on to public hearing. Tonight, we have two public hearings. If you would like to provide testimony during the public hearing, please raise your hand so that I can call on you by either pushing the raise the hand button under the participants tab on Zoom or by pressing the *9 on your telephone. Please begin your testimony by stating your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Our first public hearing will be on cybersecurity performance audit. I will open tonight's public hearing at 6:27. And I will call on Administrative Service Director Jeff Steffens.
Good evening. Critical government services depend on IT systems with confidential information, which must be protected to avoid service disruptions and financial losses. The City of Sumner places a high level of importance on cybersecurity, which is why approximately 5 years ago, the city volunteered to take part in the Washington State Auditor's IT Security Performance Audit. This audit, which recently wrapped up, began a little over 11 months ago at no cost to the city. Joining us this evening are Jamie and Mike from the State Auditor's Office to conduct this public hearing.
Thank you. All right.
Hello, I just want to make sure you can hear me all right.
Yep. We can
All
hear
right.
you.
Hello, I'm Michael Germstead from the Office of the Washington State Auditor. As mentioned, also here's Jamie Barrickman, who led this audit. And I would just like to thank the council and the mayor for the opportunity to address you today. And I am pleased to present the results of the audit titled Opportunities to Improve City of Sumner Information Security. As Jeff mentioned, everyone, I think we're all aware of the high importance of IT security, and our office is as well. There are many professional publications, news stories, federal, state, local audits, all describing the challenges and risk we are experiencing in the IT environment. As a result, about 7 years ago, our office began developing a team of auditing and technical experts to allow us to offer local governments the opportunity to participate in performance audits focusing on IT security. We began our audit in August of last year and just finished it up last month with the City of Sumner. For this audit, we looked at the city's security from two perspectives. First, we looked for specific vulnerabilities that may exist in the IT environment that could lead to increased risk for the city. For this, we used both our internal team of IT security practitioners as well as a team from Imagine Security who performed penetration tests on the city's systems. The Imagine Security team performs vulnerability and penetration tests across a variety of industries, including government and global Fortune 500 organizations. And their focus was to identify potential vulnerabilities in the city's network at the time of testing, as well as to provide additional guidance on how to address those vulnerabilities. They performed this testing by performing a variety of technical tests using scripts and automated scans, and as well as our internal security specialists did similar work. For the second topic, we evaluated the city's policies, procedures, and standards against leading practices. The purpose of this is to provide to help ensure that good security is implemented consistently. As any point in time, examination of vulnerabilities only informs that time. So we wanted to do both the point in time and work on the ongoing controls to ensure security is strong even after we left and as until further testing could be conducted. For this, we use the Center for Internet Security CIS controls as our primary source of leading practices. They're a challenging set of practices used to help identify areas of security strength as well as opportunities for growth. For this, we conducted interviews, gathered evidence via observation and review, and performed a variety of technical tests, scripts, and scans. Before I go over the results, I would like to mention this audit was conducted in accordance with generally accepted government audit standards and under the 2005 Initiative 900, which provided the funding for this audit. One of the requirements of Initiative 900 is to have a public hearing after the report has been released, and so that is what we're doing here today. I would also like to mention that a security assessment will always identify issues. IT security is complex, subject to frequent changes in the internal and external environments, as well as the ongoing identification of new risks and attack vectors. Our audit found that the city's policies and procedures partially align to the leading practices we were testing, and we also identified some technical security issues during the audit. The city's IT management demonstrated a very proactive attitude towards resolving the identified issues. In November 2021, our external technical specialists provided feedback on the status of the technical security issues, and the city has been addressing those. As noted in the second paragraph of the audit results section of our public report, our audit results statement is very high level. Purpose of this audit was to help the city identify ways to strengthen their security posture, and we determined that details of these security results could put the city's security at risk from external threat. This handling is consistent with RCW 4256-420 Section 4, which exempts the details of security assessments from public disclosure. To close this out, I would just recommend the city continue its efforts to remediate the risk we identified during the audit and continue to use available best practices to work on improving policy standards and procedures. And finally, I would just like to recognize the city's leadership by being a participant in these audits and the great willingness of the IT team and the city staff in their support of the audit, particularly Brian Cunningham and Jeff Steffens, who are always very helpful throughout the audit process. And are there any questions for me?
Thank you. I know they're probably clawing at their seats trying to get some questions in. Does any public have any questions on this? I see none. Anybody online have any questions on this? I see none. All right, thank you. So I'm going to close the public hearing at 5:34 or 6:34. Sorry about that.
Mayor, I actually have 6:33.
6:33 by Michelle's clock. Public hearing is closed. Thank you, guys, very much. Our second public hearing is on ordinance number 2832, Houston Road annexation. I will open tonight's public hearing at 6:33. I'm calling on Ann Siegenthaler, Senior Planner Ann Siegenthaler. Is she here? There she is.
Thank you, Mary Hayden. Good evening, City Council members. I'm sorry for the delay. I had to be upgraded for the webinar, so thank you for your patience. I do have a short presentation to provide for any of the public who might be out there and interested, and just as a refresher for the City Council. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. And is my audio okay for all of you?
Yeah.
I see nods. Thank you. So the Houston Road annexation proposal was reviewed by the council at a previous study session, and there have been a number of actions by the council to move the annexation forward through the regular state provided process. The as a refresher, the Houston Road annexation area is mostly west of the river, as you can see on the screen here. There are 4 parcels east of the river, 2 small narrow parcels owned by the city as part of the trail, and these 2 portions of parcels. And then there's a section of the annexation area here just north of Valley Avenue. The entire annexation area comprises approximately 12.6 acres, and it comprises 16 parcels. And again, to orient you, this is the Wayne's Roofing site. This is the part of the Snyder Petroleum site. And again, these are west of Maine. And this is Spinning and State Street. And these are residential parcels that have homes on them already. And these are undeveloped portions of those residential parcels. The annexation has followed a state prescribed process. It's pretty detailed, and so I'll just review that with you. The applicant submitted a request in July 2021, and as required by law, the city council has to authorize the applicant to circulate a petition, which they did, and the applicant submitted the required petition documents after collecting all of the required signatures from the 60% ownership threshold that's required. And that was submitted in April of 2022 to the city. Then the city received certification of that petition as a valid petition with valid signatures from the Pierce County Assessor's Office. And then subsequent to that, we set a public hearing, which is tonight's public hearing. Now, the next steps in the process after the city hears the testimony from tonight, the staff will submit a notice of what's called a notice of intent to annex to the Boundary Review Board at the county. And they are the final body that must approve the proposed annexation. And when the Boundary Review Board considers our proposal, there are a number of factors that are set out in state law that they have to consider. Primarily, the factors that they're going to be looking at are effects of the annexation on population, land use and zoning, and services. So just briefly about those factors, the population change that would be a result of the annexation is pretty negligible. Most of the area over here is a non-residential area, mostly industrial commercial types of uses, and these areas are undeveloped. So we're not expecting any huge population exchange. Now, over time, there could be a slight population increase in the area because this area has a general commercial zoning, which would allow some mixed-use residential development in the future. And this area east of the river has a town center zoning, which allows 6-story development, mixed-use development. So there's some potential for redevelopment in here. But again, not much. Each of these less than an acre, and based on the allowed density, we're not likely to see a huge population change there. In terms of land use and zoning, all of these areas, of course, would then become subject to City of Sumner municipal code and not county codes. And the area would no longer have the county zoning of what is now moderate density single family. And that's we would expect a benefit to the properties annexing because under the moderate density single family zoning, that's a pretty limited zone that doesn't allow commercial or industrial development. So the development potential of these parcels increases by annexing to the city of Sumner. In terms of what the zoning will be as shown here, this area will become light industrial zoning. And this area, you might recall, was the subject of a comprehensive plan map change back in 2020 that the council approved. It was designated general commercial. The council approved a light industrial designation. So that area will come in with light industrial zoning. This area is currently general commercial and will come in with a general commercial zoning. Again, this area is town center zoning and will come in with the town center designation will come in with the town center zoning. In terms of services, that's a key factor that the board's going to be looking at. Does the city have the capacity to serve the area based on the various municipal services that a city would normally provide? And the answer to that is yes, in staff's determination. The areas within our city water and sewer districts already, and the city has the capacity and capability to provide those services to the annexation area. Now, some extensions of lines, water mains, sewer mains may be needed. However, the services are there within the area and available for future development. In terms of other services, the fire district will be the same, Pierce County Fire and Rescue, same school district, and the library district will also be the same. And so we anticipate that all of those services won't change, and the city has capacity to provide the municipal services that can be expected. And I just want to mention public notice on this. We don't do annexations very often, but there is a public notice required by the state, and we follow those state requirements, which are to publish a notice in the newspaper, post signs within the area. So we had 4 large signs like this posted over in the annexation area. And we also, this is not required by the state, but we also mailed notice to all of the property owners subject to the annexation, just to make sure everyone's aware and understands the timeline and has access via the web links to all the materials that they might want to peruse. And we also published the notice on the city's website, and we emailed the normal list of interested parties for this proposal. So the next step, we have our public hearing tonight. And in September, we have a tentative date of September 6th set up for the council to make a decision on the annexation. And then after that, after the council public hearing and approval of the annexation, it would go to the Boundary Review Board. And there will be probably a 45 to 120 day delay in the effective date of the annexation after the council approves it, because that's simply just how long it takes for the Boundary Review Board to go through their process of evaluating the proposal and making sure that they've considered all of those factors I mentioned. So that's my brief presentation. I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ann? Seeing none, is there anybody that would like to speak? Mr. Radcliffe, remember to state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Radcliffe with the Old Cannery Furniture Warehouse, 13608 Cannery Way in Sumner, Washington. Thank you guys for all looking at this. This goes back quite a few years. This goes back to the John Doan days and Ryan Windish, back when we were looking at taking the boundary of the city from Houston Road to the cemetery. And that was years and years ago. We acquired the property about 5 years ago. And the one thing for us as the old cannery, it means that everything that we own will be in the city of Sumner. And we like that because we love this place. So I really appreciate you guys thinking about this and agreeing to it and just part of being us around here. So thank you.
Thank you.
I took 2 minutes, I took 50 seconds.
Okay, good. Do we have anybody else?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jolene Jones. My address is 905 Main Street, Suite 200 in Sumner. I submitted the letter of petition. I'm a property owner within the area to be annexed, but most importantly represent the majority of the property owners within this area. There is widespread strong support for this annexation. And as Dave mentioned, acquiring the rest of the cannery property as well as other quality businesses into the city of Sumner, I think is important. And the annexation cleans up kind of antiquated lines. And it's also in alignment with the city's comprehensive plan and zoning. So we'd like to express our support.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 6:47. And I will move on to regular business. First unfinished business is ordinance number 2827, Comcast franchise renewal. And we have City Attorney Andrea Marquez.
Would you like a motion, Mayor?
Yes, I would like to have Councilmember Reed make a motion. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. I move we approve ordinance 2827, authorizing the mayor to enter into a franchise renewal agreement between the city of Sumner and Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC for a term of 10 years in a form as approved by the city attorney.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Hochstetter, and I will call Andrea Marquez again.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Before you tonight is ordinance 2827. This is the second reading of a renewal franchise agreement with Comcast. The purpose, as a reminder, of franchise agreements are to allow utility companies to utilize the public right-of-way to provide their services to the public. The proposed term of the franchise before you tonight is 10 years. And as a member of the Rainier Cable Commission, this franchise is a model agreement that was negotiated among all the member cities and counties of the RCC. So at some point in the next couple of years, all of the members of the RCC have already or will be implementing an almost identical franchise agreement to the one that is before you tonight. For consistency's sake and for Comcast's sake, this is widely important. There are a couple of provisions that we negotiated that are different from other cities. For example, the city of Sumner is in the process of analyzing and implementing a dig once policy. So we made sure to include that in this franchise agreement. We also extended out the notice periods for capital improvement projects to make sure that Comcast's utility infrastructure is out of the way in time for our projects to proceed. And we tweaked the PEG fee provisions a little bit. Other than that, this model franchise is consistent with our other member RCC cities. A couple of reminders about this franchise. Comcast pays the city as a franchise fee 5% of its gross revenues, and those are paid on a quarterly basis and become general fund dollars. In addition to the franchise fee, PEG fees are included in this franchise. That is new. They are actually referred to as EG programming fees, and it's 0.375% of gross revenues per month which become a limited resource that the city can use for capital costs related to education and government-related programming. Our PCTV is the perfect example of that. So franchise agreements require 2 readings. This was before you on July 18th for the first reading and back before you again this evening for the second and final reading. I am happy to answer questions.
Any questions? Any questions from the public? Okay, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Potato,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Bull.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that's unanimous. Okay, moving on to public comment. So the public is encouraged to submit their comments to the city clerk by email before tonight's meeting, so the clerk may read those emails to the record. Michelle, did we have any emails?
No, Mayor, I did not.
All right. Is any public listening or watching want to say anything? Seeing none, we will move on to new business. And we have a new appointment to the Civil Service Commission, Georgia Lomax. Deputy Mayor Hochstetter, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the appointment of Georgia Lomax to this Civil Service Commission for a term ending in April 2024.
Awesome. Do we have a second?
A second.
Seconded by Councilmember Reed. And I call on Jeff Steffens, Administrative Services Director.
Good evening. After a number of years on the Civil Service Commission, Mike Carnahan has moved out of state, leaving a vacancy. The mayor is seeking the appointment of Georgia Lomax to fulfill the remainder of his term. Ms. Lomax is the recently retired Executive Director of the Pierce County Library System and brings years of professional human resources experience to the Civil Service Commission. She looks forward to the opportunity to give back to the community in a new way. With that, I hope that you approve Georgia Lomax to the Civil Service Commission for a term ending April 2024.
Thank you. Okay, do I have any comments from the council? Any comments? Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is a real coup. Georgia's reputation speaks for itself, and she has done wonderful things for the city, and we're just so glad you're interested in carrying on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else? I personally want to thank you. If it wasn't for our commissions, we wouldn't be half as good as we are. So I appreciate you giving your time and coming out of retirement for this long just to be on this commission. Would you like to come in and speak? What was my next item? What was on the list?
Thank you for the opportunity to be involved with the city and see how it works and to help out. So thanks for making these opportunities available to members of the community. And I really look forward to the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle, will you call the roll?
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Bull.
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimous. Congratulations.
Welcome.
Okay, ordinance number 2831, ARPA budget amendment. And we have City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Would you like a motion first, Mayor?
Councilmember Betetto, would you like to make a motion?
Sure. I make a motion to adopt ordinance number
2831, allocating ARPA funds to offset police retention program substantially in the form as approved by the city attorney.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second, Councilmember Hochstetter.
I think I'm on. Yes, I'd like to second that.
Any discussion? Mary, would you like to turn your microphone on? I can do that. Hi, guys. I'm back.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. Jason Wilson, your city administrator. This ordinance is actually a companion item to the next item on your agenda, which is Resolution 1632. Over the last several months, the staff has been communicating with council about the extremely difficult labor market that we are in. It's been difficult to recruit as well as maintain employees in this market. It's also being impacted heavily by the current inflationary rates. And the city is always exploring ways to be creative in an effort to retain our existing staff. One of the ways that we are proposing is to create a one-time employee retention payment program. Funding for this one-time program will be covered largely by the number of vacancies that we've held throughout this year due to the difficult recruitment market. Funding for employees would receive $1,500 gross, and members of the police guild would receive $3,000 gross. The ordinance before you allocates $39,000 of American Rescue Plan Act funds to supplement 50% of the retention payments for the police guild personnel. The program provisions are covered in the companion resolution, which is next on your agenda. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wilson? Seeing none?
Councilmember Reed.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to speak in favor of this motion. It's and say a thank you to law enforcement and our law enforcement officers and the police support staff. And I will be voting in favor of this.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Do you have more, Jason?
Nope, just need the clerk to call the roll when you're ready, Mayor.
Could the clerk please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimous. All right, so now we move on to resolution number 1632. Employment Retention Payment Program. Councilmember Cole, would you like to make a motion? There you go.
Yes. I move to adopt resolution number 1632, Employee Retention Payment Program.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Don't turn it. Oh. You're not doing it, are you? There we go. Nope. This is a new sound system.
I'd love to second that.
Seconded by Councilmember Hochstetter. All right. Jason Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As I mentioned before, this is the companion item to the ordinance that you just passed. This actually establishes the rules and procedures for the Employee Retention Payment Program. There's a number of them listed in the resolution before you tonight. And this is the framework that we will use to implement this with our collective bargaining units as well as our non-represented staff.
Thank you. Is there any member of the public that would like to comment on this? Okay, seeing none. Oh, there's Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. Also in favor of this measure, you would always hope that the only reason that people work for the city is because they love it here so much. But at the same time, with the amazing work that the staff do, I think this is a great opportunity for us to show them how much we appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Passes unanimous. All right. Now we are down to reports. Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a short one. I just wanted to say, or put a shout out to the Sumner Spartan Marching Band. Had the opportunity to attend 2 of their performances this last week in person and watch the 3rd one of the Torchlight Parade on TV and see them perform. And it was great and extremely fun now that our daughter is part of it.
Thank you. Councilmember Cole.
Thank you. On Wednesday, July 20th, I attended the Rainier Communications Commission meeting, and there were a few items that I thought I would bring forth today. There was discussion, or I guess an update on the Bates College release renewal. And we were advised that there is a temporary lease extension in place, and the proposed lease has been sent to the state attorney's office. And they are at this point moving on a 2-year cycle for that. And I know that that was to coincide with the budget process. We also the commission agreed to hybrid meetings going forward. And then there was also discussion about just a PCTV update. And as I think I mentioned the last time we didn't have our May meeting, but prior to that, we did learn that there would be a new employee who has actually started, or they did on July 25th, so right after the meeting. And this person will be in the role of 50% a producer and 50% videographer. They also, for PCT, they also have a new channel, and this is it's called Look, Listen, Learn. And it's for preschoolers. So this is the first time they've ever offered children's programming. And lastly, there was a call to all cities to provide any of their video content to them. And this is something that really needs to be passed on to Ms. Palmer, which I have not done yet, but there is a call if we have something that we want to share, and then they're happy to air it for us. And that's it.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Hochstetter.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Councilmember Stewart.
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Councilmember Boteto.
Just remind everybody to get your ballots in tomorrow and, use your power to vote. And then that's all I have.
Thank you. City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. For my report tonight, I want to tell you that next week at your study session, you'll be hearing from the Employee Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee on an update for what they've been working on over the last year. They've been incredibly busy and have actually accomplished quite a bit in the short amount of time that they've been working together. At your next regular council meeting on August 15th, you'll have a resolution extending the capital facilities plan, a contract approval for Microsoft 365, a resolution adopting the 2021 Tacoma Pierce County Solid and Hazardous Waste Plan, amendments to the 2013 and 2019 YMCA Services Agreement, an ordinance adopting the 2022 comprehensive plan amendments related to electronic reader board and digital message signs, as well as an ordinance amending the zoning code regarding accessory dwelling units. Coming up in our commissions, the Planning Commission has a meeting this Thursday at 6 p.m. If you want to attend, you can do so in person or virtually. And they'll be starting work on their next priority item identified in the 2021 Housing Action Plan. And that is zero lot subdivisions. So just for the public's information of what that is, and for your information, a zero lot line subdivision is a way to create zero lot line homes, a type of single family home that shares a common wall with another. Zero lot line homes can take various forms, such as a townhouse, attached cottage, or duplex and fourplex. But unlike condominiums, the homeowner has separate ownership of the unit, the ground beneath, and often ownership of private front and backyards. Zero lot line homes are created by subdividing the land into small unit lots about the size of the unit. The special subdivision process creates single-family attached housing units that are sold fee simple, like a single-family home, making it a more affordable option for home ownership. So the Planning Commission will be working through this. They'll eventually hold a public hearing before it makes its way to council for full consideration. As far as development, on July 21st, Dobbs Peterbilt held the official grand opening. This is a unique project that combines their corporate offices with their sales and service departments. And if you're not familiar where this is up in the Interchange Commercial District off of 24th Street near our hotels. They are just an amazing company to have in our community, and we're excited to have them. That's it for tonight.
Thank you. And all I can say is events are back. I'm so excited. So fun to see everybody in person. This Friday and next Friday are Nights on Ryan, the night market with music, food, and shopping. This Sunday is the Classy Chassis Car Show. And I want to thank the Cultural Arts Commission, the Sumner Downtown Association, Cruise, Sumner, and all the people who helped plan our events. It's been awesome. We are doing a school supply drive for kids going back to school. Sumner Police is collecting the school supplies. You can drop them off at Sumner City Hall, the School District Administration Building, or the Family Center by August 9th. So let's get out there and collect some school supplies, go to a concert, and have some fun. We are adjourned at 7:08.